Another important application of production possibility curve is relevant to capital and consumption, attainable and non-attainable points. First of all, we can have a look on consumption versus capital or capital versus consumption. Capital is sometimes also known as investment. So examiner may use investment as an alternative term for capital and consumer goods for consumption. And when we draw production possibility curve, it looks like this. And we suppose that if initially economy is operating at point A, where production of consumer goods or consumption is equal to C1 and capital or investment is equal to K1. Now, if we decide to invest more in capital, then we will have to move from point A to B. Now, capital has increased from K1 to K2, but we have to consume less, because if we have, for example, if you have a certain amount of money, you have two options. One option is to invest that money into the business and purchase capital goods, or you can consume it. So what will be the impact if we move from point A to B? Consumption has decreased, but investment has increased. So it will lead to fall in standard of living currently. The first impact is fall in standard of living. Now it may lead to increase in standard of living in future, and in future production possibility may rise. Production PP stand for production possibility, and it may rise. And however, production possibility currently will remain the same. On the other hand, we have another option to move from point A to B. Instead of moving from point A to B, we can move from point A to point C. It shows that current consumption has increased, but investment has decreased to K3, and we can also label it C3. Movement from point A to C increases consumption to C3 but decreases investment to K3. And impact of moving from point A to C will be, there will be rise in standard of living currently, but in future standard of living or may fall, and production possibilities in future may also fall. And on the other hand, we can have a look on attainable and non-attainable points on PPC. Draw normal production possibility curve. Any point along PPC, like point A, point B, and point C, these points are attainable and they are efficient points as well, because they show full employment of resources, because we are allocating resources to the maximum extent. Any point inside the PPC is also attainable. Let's say this is point D. Point D is also attainable because it is within the boundary of resources. Graph AA, capital AA, shows the boundary of resources. It means we have this much boundary of resources and we can produce anywhere in between this boundary, right? So point D is, since point D is inside production possibility curve within the boundary of resources, so we can produce at point D, but this point D is not efficient point because resources are unemployed. And however, the point outside the PPC, let's say we have point E. Point E is outside the boundary, we want to reach there, but this is not attainable until and unless our PPC shifts outward and reaches somewhere at this point. So before that, point E would be non-attainable unless and until PPC shifts from AA to BB, capital AA to capital BB. So this is again an important concept which every student must know, because examiner generally tests such situations and MCQ questions. The last information relevant to production possibility curve is finding opportunity cost from a given production possibility equation. For example, we have production possibility equation which is y is equal to 100 minus 20x, and if examiner asks to find out opportunity cost of producing x good, if examiner asks to find opportunity cost of producing x good, then definitely opportunity cost of producing x would be y good. X and Y are two goods, and for example, if we produce nothing of X, then we can produce 100 units of Y good. But if we produce one unit of X good, then we can produce 80 units of Y good. 80 units of Y good. How many quantity of Y good can be produced? We can put the value of 1 into equation. equation is y is equal to 100 minus 20x, and then put the value of x as 1. We will get 100 minus 20 is equal to 80. So if we produce 1 unit of x good, then we can produce 80 units of y good. However, if we decide to produce one more unit of x good, then now we can produce maximum 60 units of y good along with 2 units of x good. And again we will find it in the same way, 100 minus 20 into, now put the value of x as 2, and we will get 100 minus 22s are 40 is equal to 60. So we can produce 60 units of y. But if we produce 3 units of x, then we can produce 40 units of y. It shows that every additional unit of one good is resulting in fall in 20 units of y good. And as per the principle of our opportunity cost is what we sacrifice. So in this situation, for producing 1 unit of x good, we are sacrificing 20 units of y good. So 20 units of y good will be the opportunity cost. We can verify it in the next combination as well. For example, if we increase another unit of x good from 1 to 2, again production of y good decreases from 80 to 60. Again we had to sacrifice 20 units of y, and the same situation arises when we produce one more unit of x good. So 20 y is again sacrificed. So opportunity cost of 1 unit of x is equal to 20 units of y.